What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now, I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Pharoah from Monte and the Pharoah, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monte and the Pharoah. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharoah. Later.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte the Pharoah. We see here out of Indie Music TV. While we were sitting here, Pharoah and I were talking about who would be a special guest for the Rumble or whatever else. And I have a prediction that Chris Masters, our guest next Saturday, will be at the Rumble this Saturday. And Pharoah said, "Not if I can get my hands on that guy."
Well, I would have to go to the Rumble and stop him before he gets here. That's not happening.
Maybe you're the special guest at the Rumble. How do you think the fans would react if you came out at the Rumble?
Who the fuck is this guy? You want to know? That's what's going to happen. I'll get booed out of the building. They'll be waiting for The Rock, and out comes the Croc. Oh, that was Triple H. Never mind.
Scott in the house, JB in the house, Luce in the house, Matthew, who's looking for Enzo, who said his name during... Right? Matthew Holland's name. Enzo said his name during the interview. You remember that?
What did he say?
He said Matthew Harland.
Did he?
RJ Hudson.
I remember
Phil,
him
how
saying
are you?
asshole.
ESO.
I don't remember him saying...
Whose show's starting soon, the after show with ESO and Chris Lee.
Right. Nice.
Jason in the house.
Okay.
See us, the first lady
up,
of
Jay?
wrestling, has graced us with her presence.
What is up, everybody?
Stinger's there, baby.
Stinger.
Roy Batiste, how are you?
Hey, Roy.
Let me see what else we got.
Where's Phil?
A Mess is there. Phil's here. I said
Is
Phil.
Phil? Did you say Phil? What's up,
Phil
Phil?
is here. Phil is here.
And
it's
the
Thursday
Mess.
night. We got our special guest, but first we got to cover a few things there. Pharoah?
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm not sure. Usually you start with some
First of all, Pharoah and I
shit.
had a wonderful dinner at the Pine Grove Inn in Patchogue.
I'm full.
I got to tell you,
It's hard doing a show
if
on
you're
a full
on the
stomach.
island,
Yeah.
and you're with your girl,
Okay.
or with your family,
Sure.
or even a hooker, right?
Leave me out of this.
The Pine Grove Inn is the place.
Can I get Jell-O for my guest?
What?
Whipped cream, please?
Jell-O!
Yeah, with whipped cream.
With whipped cream.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, at the Pine Grove Inn.
There you
All right.
Oh, watch the show tonight. You're going to love the plug. What the fuck, bro? Actually, the food was fantastic. Place is awesome.
It was unbelievable.
I'm full. It's hard to do a show when you're stuffed
Tell you
with
what,
steak and all sorts of other good stuff.
I said to my wife, we got to go
Place
back there
rocks.
tomorrow. I said, me and Pharoah went today, got to go back tomorrow.
You're going to go there 2 straight days?
2 straight
Man,
days.
you're going to be chubsy-tubsy.
I'm already chubsy-tubsy. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you are.
Well, poof.
Wait a minute. Not that bad. Stop it.
Tearing me up.
I do.
Man rushed to the hospital
Just
with
for dirty
insect.
serve.
Are you listening?
I've tried to. Go
Man
ahead.
rushed to the hospital with insect bite, given devastating diagnosis.
Ooh, not
A
good.
man who was rushed to the hospital with an ear infection was told he has just months to live after an illness has turned out to be a terminal brain tumor. Dave Whitford, 49, first realized something wasn't right when he became dizzy and started vomiting while sitting in his garden.
Not good.
The next day, he was rushed to the hospital. Doctors told him he was suffering from an inner ear infection that had been caused by an insect bite. So if you're in the hospital, you're like, all right, thank God, it's just a fucking insect bite, right?
Right.
Life
what
is
you would
good.
think.
I'm going to survive.
Actually, I wouldn't think that only because of the fact that being a huge, you know the band Slayer, right?
Yeah.
You know what Jeff Hanneman died of?
What?
Died of a spider bite.
Really?
This is a legendary guitarist that I grew up watching and going to see
From a
concerts.
spider bite.
Died from complications from a spider bite. I think there was other things involved, but a spider bite was a big trigger to it. Not cool.
Wait a minute. You know what the articles? Complications from a spider bite and overdosing in heroin.
No, there was
and
nothing like
cocaine.
that.
But
There was nothing like that. I
The
would've said
article didn't
so.
mention that. Just a spider
No.
bite
Oh, by the way, he had 8 pounds of heroin were found. That's not how Jeff
in his
passed.
stomach. But
No,
you know,
it
we think
was
the main reason was
basically
a spider bite.
A spider bite. He did have other health problems. That's what I was alluding to. Not heroin. You fucking unbelievable. Angel of death. Anyway.
Well, because Dave was still feeling sick and struggling for his balance, doctors performed a scan on his head which revealed a small growth on his brain. The mass that was monitored for 2 years and it began to grow. Doctors decided to remove it.
Oof. Oof. Then they discovered,
stop.
oh, look, it's a
Then
brain
they discovered
tumor.
the mass was actually an incurable brain tumor.
So for 2 years they played with this
Who
guy.
are these
and then,
doctors,
oh, look, it's
dude?
a brain tumor. I tell you
it's
who
a
they are.
bug bite.
Dr.
It's-
Howard, Dr. Fine, and Dr. Howard. You never heard of them?
Wow.
It's horrible,
sad
dude.
news.
Yeah,
Sad
no,
news.
that's not cool. Not
Rapper
cool at
who
all.
allegedly tattooed sex trafficking victims with name of his DJ business.
You can't
Wow.
be serious.
I'm gonna control you, sell you,
Right.
and I'm going to tag you.
Right.
And if you're nice enough, I'm going to bring you to the Pine Grove Inn with some steak.
Wait a minute, I don't tag or bag anybody. What are you doing? By the way, who names their kid, because this is the name of this fella who likes to bag and tag women,
Yes.
Dawud.
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 I don't know, Wud. Yeah,
Congratulations, honey.
D-A-W-U-D.
This is your new son. What do you want to name him? Dawud?
Dawud.
What do you what?
Well,
Dawud?
you know
no,
something,
what do you want
though.
to name him? Dawud?
You gotta understand something though. The father's name was probably the shit, and you know what I'm getting at here. The Wood.
Authorities,
the Wood Sammy.
authorities
That's his
in
name.
Ohio are looking for public's help to find this Cleveland rapper wanted for sex trafficking charges who allegedly branded his victims with his company name. Dawood Sami, 42, was indicted on 6 felony counts related to human trafficking. Hold on, I got to get to my computer. All right, thank you very much.
Unbelievable.
Thank God for Spidey, I got to
Spidey
tell you.
rocks.
And promoting prostitution in December after authorities received tips after operating trafficking ring and advertising sex for sale online. Online.
All he needed to do was just play it safe and just advertise for Pine Grove Inn. What the fuck's wrong with this
just
guy?
explain something to me.
Yeah.
How does a person,
He's not a person.
like, get controlled by a John? Like, how does that even happen? Like, how?
Desperation. Usually, women who have no family or support, or have low self-esteem of themselves. This is how Charlie Manson was Charlie Manson. You got to understand that.
Interesting.
The ability to look for and prey upon weaknesses is what people, and I hate calling this guy a person because he's really not, what monsters like this specialize in. They usually can recognize weakness in the female and just take complete advantage.
And if
That's pretty
anyone
much it.
didn't know it, that is
Sick.
the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Farrow.
How?
So, Jimmy, I was listening to Tommy Dreamer, giving credit on, he was
stayed
on
awake?
Busted Open. I did. I stayed awake.
Good job.
Lots of coffee, but I stayed awake.
I bet. Extra sugar.
He was giving credit to Tony Khan for buying copyrighted entrance music for AEW's Pro Wrestling Superstars. And I started thinking to myself, like, you know, that's kind of like a cheap way out. I don't agree with Tommy at all. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking, and I said, you know what? Coming off the great Wisteria Hall appearance last week, which, by the way, the fans loved. I loved it. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
We're going to do a couple more bands coming up, too, I think. I really do enjoy that. And I got to tell you, your voice, man, a lot of people giving you a lot of props. Even my father said, I caught Mr. Pharoah on the last show. Mm-hmm. He's got a hell of a voice, he said.
Thank you. Well, I was wondering about it, but I appreciate that, and I pulled through.
All right, so I put
Appreciate it.
together a list of the top 10 entrance songs for wrestling, okay? And you can tell me if you agree or not agree, okay?
Okay.
Number 10, DX, Are You
Greatest
Ready?
themes of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be in my top 10. Are You Ready from DX? That's absolutely... Wow, at number 10, what kind of
Now,
list is this going to be? This is going to be a killer list.
Now, again, a song that wasn't copyrighted.
No.
It was made by the WWE.
That's right.
So that was my point. Tommy Dreamer doesn't really know.
Are you ready?
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
But
Great song.
then to prove me wrong, at
Go ahead.
number 8, I chose.
Well, that's 10. Where's 9?
9. I'm sorry, number
Nice,
9. I
nice.
chose Iron Man, the Road Warriors theme.
Well, Iron Man is one of the greatest, obviously heavy metal songs ever written /
But
hard
as
rock.
far as wrestling goes,
Boy, it sure suited them, didn't it?
how great was that?
I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm hoping if that's on this list, then something else better damn well be that's Road Warrior related. Here comes the axe and here comes the smasher. That better be on here.
Number 8.
That says it all, folks. Stay tuned for me to rant and rage. Number 8.
Number 8, Metalingus from Alter Bridge, the Edge theme song.
Can't argue with this. By the way, I was recently. Have you seen Alter Bridge live?
Yes, I have.
How was he live?
Fantastic.
You are so fortunate. I want to see
Huge
him
Alter Bridge fan.
as soon as possible. Alter Bridge is amazing.
Even the Judgment
His voice
Day
is
Alter
incredible.
Bridge song,
That's
the
great.
entrance is unbelievable.
It's great. He gives me chills. I got chills right now
But
thinking about his
again,
voice. They did Miles Kennedy, man.
Metalingus is a copyrighted song.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Tommy Dreamer seems to really know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I think it's selective. It depends on the wrestler, but keep going.
Number 7, Walk, Pantera cover, Rob
just
Van Dam.
Amazing. Just amazing. Amazing. And it's funny, too, though. Let's give a little props to WWE. It's not Walk. I come on, I'm a huge Pantera fan, so I've seen him a million times. Rest in peace, Dimebag and Vinny. But One of a Kind was a great song for Rob Van Dam. They did a good job with that.
Oh, I loved One of a
They did
Kind.
a good job with that, but you can't, I do agree. Pantera, Walk is the number 1 theme for Rob. It was amazing.
Number 6, For Whom the Bell Tolls, the Undertaker theme music.
That's great. That is iconic. That's an original, though, right?
That is an original.
Right. That's not For Whom the Bell Tolls.
It is
from
Metallica doing a WWE original.
Understand. Right.
So
Understand.
I call that
Yeah.
not copyrighted music.
Oddly enough, my favorite music for The Undertaker was the Attitude Era music for him with the heavy guitar. You got to go back.
Oh,
and
that
listen.
was-
That was fantastic. That's almost a hidden gem today.
Yeah.
People don't even think about it. What a great theme that was.
Number 4, Cult of Personality, CM Punk.
That's incredible. That's a great theme.
Tell me what you said to me about that song, how it fit the character.
Well, again, when you're deciding what fits for a character, I almost don't think you should factor in, well, I got to pay royalties. If you have the budget that WWE clearly has and the profits that they make, it wouldn't factor in with me, but I wouldn't be automatically leaning towards giving a famous song to a wrestler. It depends on the wrestler, his vibe, and what works for what he's trying to present. So that's where I would apply it. I mean, if there's a great theme song that, you obviously have in the past, Jim Johnson, you've had all your professional writers.
Yeah.
If they've given you something and you listen to it and you see that guy's face and he just comes to audition and wants to, and you hear that music, you give it to him.
Like The Ultimate Warrior was.
That's incredible theme music. Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
right.
That wasn't from AC/DC.
Now, it's not my top 10, but it's one of the great ones.
How is that not in the top 10?
Well, Stingers just wrote, Hogan's 2 NWO music. I'm going to
amazing.
say Stingers, check it
Amazing.
out.
Amazing.
Number 3, I chose Hulk Hogan, Voodoo Child, Jimi Hendrix.
Okay, I can. Honestly, I would put "I'm a Real American" and the NWO theme over it.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I did always dig it. I did always dig it when he came. He'd be
When he
playing
was
the
playing-
belt and shit.
yeah.
It was great. It's not that it's not great.
Listen, this is Monty's list. I
Yeah.
just, I'm sure that there'll be some disagreements. Number 2, Glass Shatters,
Oh, come on.
Stone Cold.
just-
That's made by Disturbed, but
that's just-
not copyrighted
Yeah,
music.
That's just insane. That is just fantastic.
I think you're going to be shocked at this one, Pharoah, but I thought about it long and hard, and I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The greatest theme song in the history of wrestling, I'm sorry, I'm going with The Game by Motorhead.
Bow down to the game.
Bow
Or-
Down to the King's different
or
song,
the,
right?
the King of
King of-
Kings.
It's King of Kings.
Okay. Yeah. They're both great, by the way.
They are both great. No,
They're
they
both great. Yeah, it's great. It's great stuff. It is great stuff. How is I'm a Real American not on this list? How is Demolition's theme not on this
There's
list?
so many
That's
of them.
madness.
There are
How is
so
the
many.
Ultimate Warriors?
How about
theme
Randy
not-
Orton's theme song?
I love Randy Orton's theme. It's fantastic.
There are so many great Honky Tonk song.
He's cool. He's cocky. He's bad.
Oh my God! And let's not forget we all forget about the Raw intros, right? Or even the SmackDown intro, Beautiful People. But how about the Raw? Give me a little clip of the Raw
If
intro.
they refuse to see the change in me, why don't they wake up? I love that shit.
Wake up, wake
That song
up,
is
wake
great.
up. Oh, my God.
And then the explosion.
Roll to the music.
You hear
Oh,
that
my
guitar? The place is going berserk? Yeah, that was good shit.
JB2 says the Hardys.
Great theme.
Phil
Great
says
theme.
Triple H's first song, Our Time, very good.
That's cool. That is cool.
Don't remember that, man.
Our time. Win.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Am I doing a good job of making this?
Jay Will, Pomp and Circumstance, Macho
Oh,
Man.
my God. Incredible.
ESO, Pile Driver.
Not for nothing, Ric Flair's music is incredible.
Dude, there's so many.
There's
The
so
list is
many.
coming.
We could
the
go-
car crash from Razor.
What was that one?
Razor's car crash.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that music. Great
So
songs on that.
I guess my point was, you know what?
Great shit.
You are right, Pharoah. Sometimes a guy needs a copyrighted song.
If it fits.
But, like, what do you feel about Jungle Boy coming out to his music?
Love it.
You
It
like
fits
that?
him. I think it's fantastic. You know what's a great theme? I wonder how many of you remember this one. Let's see if they can guess it. Let's see if you can guess it. WCW. Dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. Dum dum. LWO, baby. Latino
Oh,
Worldwide.
I don't remember. Scott
Dum,
says
dum.
out there,
Oh,
Stand
boom,
Back.
Boom. Stand Back is
Stand Back's a classic.
That's great.
I could watch just watching Vince.
Yeah.
Vince
It's-
was a
Wait,
singer.
No chance in hell.
Oh, man.
You gotta be
All
kidding
right, bro,
me.
we got to guess, so I don't want to go on too long.
You know what we should do? One
Right.
of these days, we should just do a massive list, like the 25 greatest. We'll do our homework
Yes,
and
yes.
try to figure out what belongs on that list.
I agree.
Wow.
I would like to thank the band that sings the themes. Talk about theme songs.
Yeah.
Our Monte and the Pharaoh's theme song, our own Jimmy Farrow, along with his partner, Bart Griggs. If you haven't seen the episode from last week, catch it. They were incredible. Wisteria Hall sung such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, and Here Comes the Rain. You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. Download them off of Spotify, Apple Music, or Reverb Nation. If you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestler and broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, where over 2 million views are seen. Catch us on the Monte and the Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, the Monte and the Pharaoh Twitch TV page, or where any audio broadcast is shown. You can catch Monte and the Pharaoh. We're also on New York cable, if you're lucky enough to live in New York, on channel 115 every Tuesday at 9:30, and on Saturday mornings at 11:30, where you'll see our guests on a reduced version. Or if you're not into channel 115,
It's abbreviated.
catch
Still
us
calling
on,
it reduced after all this time.
on Wednesdays on
Jeez.
channel 20 at 7 p.m.
Fast question.
Go.
Are we retiring Bartman for a little while? I've noticed I'm not doing it lately, and that's fine. My voice
I
appreciates
don't.
it.
I don't.
You
dictate
usually
to
used
you.
to stop and be like, okay, here's your cue.
That's your-
Hit the stupid note.
Go ahead.
Bartman.
There you go. I
All
would
right.
never.
I'm
ever
not sure
stop
what's
that.
going on here, folks.
Listen, we got a pretty
all good.
exciting show. You know, Long Island's #1 pro wrestler and broadcast tries to bring you the best of professional wrestling, where we're bringing you newfangled stars and the old
Yeah.
school stars, which we love. We've had so many Hall of Famers in here, and very rarely do we have an opportunity to speak to some of the young and up-and-coming indie guys who could be the future guys you see on the channel.
That's right.
So we're really excited. After this commercial break, we will be with guest Rika Wildlee.
Nice. See you in a second.
Sir,
Ah.
Manscaped,
Uh-huh.
you know, have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped, what are you thinking about
Love it.
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
So
bit.
Manscaped is a
You-
must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to
Oh,
go
I
do
know
the deed
where-
on a
I
woman,
know where
would you
he's
rather
going.
have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
Racing stripe.
full retro bush?
Racing stripe.
Retro bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to
Wow.
wander into that.
That's
thought
very
of it like
interesting.
that.
I never thought about that. You're a
Wow.
smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that.
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured,
Yeah,
you can see both sides. It's not
Like blinking lights on both sides of that
I
landing?
just don't. I don't want. I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh, look
but-
what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found it! I found
have
it!
you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
What is
retro? Just,
Absolutely.
You're like, whoa!
Wow,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
like
46,
it
of
pops
course.
out?
Do you walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's a
through.
trooper. He's a trooper. Gotta give him an A.
Oh, not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say.
Bush.
I couldn't say. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but
only
with that,
Ron
we're going to take
Jeremy,
a quick
Batman.
commercial break and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop.
And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. The sleeping guy during the Manscaped commercial, people seem to love him.
Well, that's Negan from Walking Dead. He was taking a nap. He's tired. Too much wrestling.
All right, well, I want to welcome our guest, and don't let him scare everybody.
I'm already freaked.
Are you really?
A little bit.
Rika Wildlee. Rika, welcome. How are you?
It's Rika Wildlee.
I
Rika.
am doing amazing. Doing amazing. I'm just saying, you guys are pretty hilarious.
Well, thank you. We try. But enough about our looks. Let's find something else to laugh at.
Ah, come on now.
He's trying to.
So, Rika, it's an honor to have you on. I caught you on the internet, and I'm like, this guy, he's got something. For the Monte and the Pharoah family out there, can you tell them a little about you and how you decided to get into wrestling and what's up with the gimmick?
Well, I wanted to be a wrestler since I was about 8 years old. And as it sets today, I am 33 and have finally set my sights on bigger and better things in the wrestling world. Not just being a fan, not just being a viewer, just finally getting in ring. And as far as the gimmick goes, I didn't see anybody else doing it. So I just decided to turn on the bright lights, make them brightest at match time, so every time I grace the screen or grace the ring, I always captivate the audience.
When did you start wrestling? Because at 33, I'm wondering how long you've been doing it.
Professionally for about 2 years. So officially started at 31.
What causes you at the age of 31 to suddenly go, you know what? This is what I want to try. I just find it unusual. What led up to this creation?
Well, I had a child at 17 years old. I was a young father, so as he grew up and he got older, like I said, I've always wanted to be a professional wrestler, and I kind of put it on the back burner to make sure that, he was raised properly and I could do the daddy thing and do all that. So as he got older, I went off, I got married, and I was actually in Cancun, Mexico on my honeymoon with my new bride. And I woke up one morning and I looked over at her and I just said, if I don't do it now, I'm getting to the age to where it's, the window is slowly closing. If I don't make a move now and try to focus my energy on becoming a wrestler, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. And to be honest, that's one of my biggest fears, is dying with regrets, the what ifs, you know what I mean? And
Sure.
about 30 minutes after I said that to her, we were outside, we were feeding the birds on the balcony, real romantic type stuff. And one of my friends messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, they just opened a school not far from where you live. I said, there's no way. I've been around this area my entire life, and if there was a wrestling school around my area, I would be the first to know about it. And come to find out, they had just opened up a few months earlier. I had yet to see them, and I made the call about 15, 20 minutes later from Mexico, and the rest is history. Started going to school, and bam.
How did you find the acceptance coming, considering you're not starting as young as a lot of wrestlers are? How did you find the acceptance in the locker room? Did the age make a difference with the other guys in the locker room? Was it a smooth transition? Because this must have been a shock to your body, too. You're making a major choice. What was the rosters like around you? Was the age a factor at all?
Well, there was me and one fellow that was around my age. He's actually a little tiny bit older than me, but me and him kind of clicked real tight. His name is Jake Fury. You can look him up, but we clicked real tight because of our, age and things like that. And a lot of the other guys were a little bit younger than us, and some really young. X Storms is one. He's 21 years old, came in fresh out of high school, basically, and really make his mark in the wrestling world. And being older, knowing what I know about the wrestling business, and being able to talk to these guys about character and presence and direction and all of that kind of stuff. Now, I'm no professional. I've never been in front of a professional crowd in a professional setting at this point when I joined the school, but I've dreamed about it and pretended about it since I was a child. And it's one of those things, once you get the option to push that little bit of knowledge onto somebody who could actually use it and grow from it, it's a beautiful thing. And that's why I came into the school, ears open, ready to learn, and thank God for that. My coach, Dapper Danny Davis, he's a Mid-South legend. He's one of those guys that made it possible for me to be on your screen today. Made it possible for me to go out and achieve my dream.
Do you prefer the E in entertainment? Because I can clearly see that, your shtick, your gimmick, your character clearly is entertainment first. Were you concerned with how wrestling is usually today a flip-flop fest? And, I'm just curious as to how you were going to approach all of this. Like, how am I going to wrestle? I mean, entertainment must have been at the top of your idea, though, as the package goes.
The way I look at it is this: when I came into the wrestling world and was deciding on my gimmick and all of that kind of stuff, the way I looked at it was, what is wrestling missing nowadays? What does wrestling need? Now, there's 1,000 people who can wrestle. There's 100,000 people who can wrestle and wrestle amazingly. But they're missing gimmicks. They're missing characters. What got over? What really captivated me when I was young and really was watching wrestling and doing all that? It was the characters. It was the something that you don't see every day walking down the street. That is what wrestling has become nowadays, is there's not many actual gimmicks, in-depth characters. I mean, you got Bray Wyatt and things like that, they're the exception. But for the majority of it, it's just everyday guys putting on some tights, coming out there with a normal name. Used to it was Earthquake and Roddy Piper and all of this kind of stuff, and it really, they had something to develop on. Having these guys, other than their amazing wrestling ability, there's not much of a gimmick for a lot of guys, and I think that's where the wrestling business right now is, falling apart on. So that's why I wanted to bring a little charisma, a little something that people, regardless if I'm wrestling or not, they're going to remember the lights. They're going to remember the mask. They're going to remember the hand gestures and all of that kind of thing. You know, it's just one of those deals that I want them to remember who I am many, many days, months, weeks, years, whatever, after they see me wrestle, perform, cut a promo, whatever it is.
So one thing I noticed is you're wearing the gimmick. How difficult is it to wrestle in that mask?
The mask, not hard at all. It's really secure. I've been wearing it, like I said, for going on 2 years now, and it's only, faltered one time, and it wasn't even a big deal. It didn't actually come off or anything like that. So the jacket I take off when I go out there. The top hat, obviously, I take off when I go out there. But as far as the mask goes, it's pretty secure. I don't have a problem wrestling in it at all.
Now, were you like Mil Mascaris? Do you like wear the mask 24/7 so no one knows your identity?
Yes.
What? Really?
I basically wear it. I mean, I do have a day job, obviously. I mean,
Okay.
I am a 9-to-5 working class citizen, but but as far as the mask goes, when I am the day of the show, the mask goes on first thing in the morning
Stays on.
until I break down the ring and I go home and I walk through my front door. The mask stays on.
Now, you're a scary character, right? So how do the younger audience, how are they affected by you? Are they scared? Are they, because you're kind of a clown gimmick, right?
They love it. And that's what's weird is you would think with the grungy voice and the weird hand gestures and the lights and all of that thing, you would think it would scare a lot of kids, but to be honest, I'm their favorite TV character. I'm every cartoon they've ever watched.
Right.
So they love it.
Now, what wrestling organizations do you work for? Can you share that with the fans?
Yes, I am currently with and working with United Wrestling Entertainment out of Alexandria, Louisiana. I am working with New Hope Extreme Wrestling in Arkansas, February 11th and the 25th, and Chair Metal Wrestling in Waldron, Arkansas, April 22nd. That's it. So I'm kind of, jumping around, wrestling here and there, but that's the way you got to do. You got to get in front of the fans. You got to chase it. It won't find you. You got to find it. You know what I mean?
What would you say to the fans if you were asked to describe your wrestling style for those who are curious?
My wrestling style is very simple, old school lucha.
Okay.
That's the way I'm going to put it. Like, I'm going to say not as technical, but early Eddie. Even as far as the basic technical stuff I use is like early William Regal, like WCW Regal.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. So that's the kind of stuff I style my in-ring ability after, because I just love how smooth and flawless those techniques were.
I told you before the show when we were chatting before we came on air that you give me a Jeff Hardy vibe somehow. Is he one of your major influences?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely he is one of my major influencers, and one day I know he's, on his last little run as a wrestler, but I would love to meet the man just to tell him, thank you for inspiring me and pushing me to become a wrestler myself and take this and make it something that people haven't seen. Kind of take a little bit of him and a little bit of me and, give the fans something new to focus on.
Now, do you go searching for bookings, or how many wrestling promotions are in that Louisiana belt that are looking for wrestlers?
There's a few, but as far as the Louisiana federations and things like that go, organizations go, most Louisiana wrestlers find bookings and go work Texas, because Texas is I mean, as we know, the Dallas Sportatorium and all of the history that wrestling has in Texas, that's where all the federations are, and all the organizations and academies and things like that are really, above and beyond over there. So most Louisiana wrestlers, whether you want to be a manager, whatever, they go over there. But that's what makes the UWE that I work for and the academy that I learned from here in Louisiana that much more amazing, because there is nothing else around Louisiana. So all the talent really come here. All the people that want to learn to train and learn to wrestle come to the UWE.
Now you said you were a fan since 8 years old. Were your parents fans of pro wrestling?
My dad watched it when he was a kid because his grandpa watched it, like the old Mid-South stuff, the Memphis territories and things like that, way back when. He used to watch it when he was a kid, and as he got older, he just kind of fell off of it, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a kid in school or what really broke me into the wrestling world, per se, but I just remember... I don't know if it was, I think it was my cousin, actually. We had the VHS Boyhood Dream Shawn Michaels cassette, the VHS tape. And that was the first wrestling video I believe I ever watched. And ever since then, it was a wrap. I was hooked.
So you grow up this wrestling fan, and now you have you finally get this opportunity to become a pro wrestler. Did it meet your expectations, or did you find out that this world of wrestling is a bunch of freaks and wackadoos, and you're like, this is a disappointment?
It opened my eyes, is what it done. It turned me from a fan just watching on TV to really understanding what I'm watching, because the average fan that sits there and watches Raw or SmackDown or what, AEW, Dynamite, whatever, they watch it and they see all these people doing these things, but they don't understand the real cinematography and the real workmanship and everything that goes into putting on these amazing matches. The real struggle it takes to train and do all this stuff and make these look as just careless and as smooth and as beautiful as possible for the fans to enjoy. And that's why I love knowing what I know now about how wrestling actually works. As far as my expectations, it was way more than I ever could have expected. Because growing up where I grew up, in a small little town where I grew up, I had a lot of people tell me, hey, grow up, dude. You're from such and such. Wrestling don't happen here, and wrestlers don't come from here, and that's such a far-fetched dream. Just dream killers, man. And now these same dream killers are coming up to my merch table asking for a picture. Asking for a shirt or an autograph. Dude, quite ironic, isn't it?
I love the gimmick. I think it's a great idea. I think you play it really well. Like I said, I caught you on the internet, and I'm like, I got to bring this guy on the show.
Not for nothing, he's spooky as shit.
He is spooky as shit.
I
will tell you, the one thing I don't like about you is Louisiana.
Yeah, how do you live in Louisiana?
How do you live there?
He needs to know.
Oh, my God.
You got to fill him in.
Well, like I said earlier when we were talking before the show, I grew up here, central Louisiana. Where I live is between Jonesville and Alexandria, Louisiana, and there's almost nothing here. There's no work, there's no jobs, and if you want to work or you want to pursue a dream or anything like that, you do have to move off.
Wow.
But the one thing that has really put me above and beyond as far as a character like myself, coming from Louisiana, such a small rural place, is the internet. All these different social media apps and all of these things that I can get in front of millions and millions of people and never leave the comfort of my home.
Without the internet, I mean, let's say you had, been younger many years back and you tried this. Do you think you would have had as much success at all without the help of the internet?
Well, as far as the gimmick goes, well, yes. As far as the gimmick goes, definitely not.
Right.
I mean, it really helps me pursue the character because it's just bright. Mm-hmm. It's bright, very bright. So it keeps people wondering what's next, because they're always looking for those lights. It could be no matter what match I'm on on the show, in the card, whatever, they're always looking for those lights. And being from Louisiana, if I was, say, 10 years older and I had to do old VHS promos and, cut them on a big old, VHS recorder.
Yeah.
That's what I had when I was a kid. That was the first camera I ever had. I've got pictures. I wish I would have sent them to you guys, but I've got pictures of me as a kid holding this big VHS camera outside, recording on my trampoline and recording in my backyard ring thing I built. But it was only me. There was no crowd. There was no real people to wrestle. It was only me. But in my head, it was the most amazing thing ever. But if I had to do what I'm doing now, 15 years ago, definitely not. I don't think it would work.
Gotcha. The Rika Wildlee that we're looking at right now, I got to ask you, was this look instantaneous, or did you do like a Kiss metamorphosis? Because if you look at Kiss's debut album, their makeup is not the same as by the time they hit their prime. So was this look already nailed, or did you slowly add to it until we got what we're looking at right now?
Actually, when the Rika Wildlee character was born, it was actually before the wrestling, the in-ring wrestling started. There is a group on Facebook I'm a part of called the VOH, the Voice of Honor. They do promo battles on Facebook, okay? So basically, they have characters on there. You make a character. They put these two promos, shit-talking basically, against each other. And then they judge that, and that's winners. They have belts and all that kind of stuff. So I joined that.
Shit-talking, Mike.
Yes,
Pretty impressive.
it's promo
Okay.
battles.
Interesting.
It's promo battles.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Almost like a
and they,
rap battle.
yes, matter of fact, I am the current VOH Tag Team Champion.
Belt.
Wow, look at that. Look at that.
Yes.
Nice.
Well,
I'm
Rika,
one half the current-
one thing I want to find out is if you're really a true clown. So what we put together is something called a little program, Catch That Clown.
Okay.
What's going to happen is
Interesting.
Pharoah's going to just say a name, and you're going to tell me if this was a clown or it's not a clown. Now, you'll be graded on this, and we'll officially see if you've earned the
His
reputation you're trying to
His
build.
clownship.
A clownship.
His clownship.
Very good, Pharoah.
Yeah, I love
Very
his
good
look. So
clownship.
he's already half.
All right, so Pharoah will give you a
know?
name, and all you have to say is, are they a clown and not a clown, and if you have any experiences with that particular clown.
Interesting.
All right, Pharoah.
I can't believe you get. By the way, I almost feel like he's shooting on me. What is this?
Catch That Clown.
Okay, Rika, let's start.
Let's go.
Wow, this is insane. Okay, let's start with Ronald McDonald.
Of course, he's a clown.
I think he's a clown. He's a great.
Oh, the
Look
bell.
at that. He got the
The
bell.
bell.
You're
Very nice.
okay so
That should
far.
have been a ring
now,
bell,
Rika,
by the
it's
way.
going to get much more difficult.
It
Pharoah,
is?
go ahead.
Oh my God.
That's
okay.
fine. I was never good at tests.
So far, so good though. Let's go with the Hulk Hogan, in my opinion, of clowns.
The Hulk Hogan of clowns.
He is.
Wow.
How about Bozo, the clown?
Bozo the clown. Okay, then.
I don't know. The last name's Bozo the Clown. I wonder if he's a clown.
He's the.
Maybe you just should have said Bozo.
Okay, how do you feel about Bozo?
Yes, of course, he's a clown.
Yeah, he's a clown.
I don't know.
he?
Wait.
Cameron! Yeah, Rika!
okay.
Boy,
All
he's
right.
he's faring wildly.
So far,
on this.
doing very, yes, you are
he is.
doing wildly.
What is this? I don't even know who the fuck this is. All right, I'll give it a shot. I'll try to say it right. Oleg Popov.
Ooh, that's
Who
a
the
tough
fuck
one,
is Oleg
Rika.
Popov.
That's a tough one. buddy.
I'm gonna say yes, he's a clown.
Oh,
No, you,
man.
you didn't study for this, Rika? What's going on?
This guy is earning his
Oh my God, I
clownship.
recognize that clown. Hold
He is
on a
earning his-
second.
Now it's getting tougher, buddy.
Oh,
It's
this
getting
is
really
this
tougher.
is. You know what? Before I ask you, I'm going to throw my own 2 cents in. This clown has no peer. Evan Ginsberg.
No.
Look at him. He's
I mean-
dropping his head. You sure you don't want to go hide in the closet when you answer this one?
So you're saying
What?
Evan Ginsberg is not a clown?
I
Rika,
mean,
think carefully,
in the
Rika.
sense- yes, I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Wait a minute. How does he get a bell when he doesn't even know who it is? You don't
Well,
get a date on
lucky
that
guess.
one,
Evan
Jared.
Ginsberg, in my opinion, is a clown, but officially not a clown, so Rick is right.
I think we should, yeah. Ring the bell again for Rika.
Hey,
Spidey, he's not pay. There
All
we
right.
go.
Next
Okay.
question there, Pharoah.
All right. On number 5. Eric Sims.
This is a tough one, Rika.
No.
He's not a clown? Wow.
No.
Wow.
I actually agree with that.
But Sims eats a lot.
Yeah, but that's just a guy who eats a lot. He's not a clown.
That's true.
He just eats a lot.
It's true.
You know where he eats?
He's just a human who eats.
He eats at the Pine Grove Inn.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't?
It's too expensive for him.
Cheap guy. Unbelievable.
All right, next
okay,
up.
let's get to the next. Who the hell? Coco? Coco.
Coco the clown?
Oh, this guy is killing it.
Wow.
He's killing it.
You are a clown.
Oh, my God. Dude, he's already passed.
He's a clown connoisseur.
Oh, this guy's a fucking clown. I can't answer this. I can answer this one. Never mind. Okay, Rika. How about
Jerry Sorrentino. How about him?
Jerry Sorrentino.
No.
Holy shit, wait a second.
This guy's good.
How is he getting every single one right?
I don't know.
Did you, Rika, did you get a hold of the script before you came on the air? By any chance? Oh, you're a magical clown. He's got superpowers.
He does have superpowers.
He does have superpowers. I love his gimmick, man. I'm going home and putting a black light on with the manscape.
There you go.
It's gonna be, oh, this is the greatest ever. How about Krusty?
Krusty the clown.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
Wow.
He sounded just like him. Holy shit, that was
You're
great.
getting 100 right now,
Dude, he's got
man.
100. Wait a minute.
This guy's a clown king.
Wait a minute. Okay.
This is a hard one. This is a very difficult one, and I don't.
This
I do
is-
not think he's going to get it. He's not going to get it.
You know what? Good luck, Rika. John Wayne Gacy.
My favorite clown.
God, he got it right, didn't he?
I'm waiting. Oh, he
Got
did.
it right.
He got it
Your
right.
favorite clown?
Wow.
Holy crap. Don't book him out here.
If anyone doesn't know
He's
John
scary.
Wayne Gacy is, John Wayne Gacy is one of the biggest mass murderers in the history of this country.
Yeah.
But it's Rika's favorite clown.
Oh,
Well, he is. I'm a historical connoisseur.
there you go.
So
There you go. I mean, a steel cage match between him and Dahmer. Look out. Ratings.
done.
All right, the
Insane.
final one. I hope you get this one.
Are you sure you want me to ask this? Because we don't ever know who's listening.
You gotta.
All right.
It's the rules of the script.
Hey, listen, in my book, a clown is a clown.
There you go.
Joe Biden.
The biggest clown of them all.
Yes! That's 10 mil salute!
Rika Wildlee, you are the recipient of 100. Perfect score.
Unbelievable. Oh, my God.
Thank
You, my
thank
friend,
you.
are a killer clown. You are a killer clown. That was amazing.
Oh,
Great job, Rika.
great job.
Great job.
All right, so Rika, we're going to get a little serious here. I'd like you
That was awesome.
to join in on this conversation.
Please.
All right.
By all means.
So, recently, Vince McMahon reportedly settles with former WWE referee over rape allegations. WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon agreed to pay a multi-million-dollar settlement last month to a former referee who accused him of raping her nearly 40 years ago. Let me repeat that. 40 years ago.
She's very patient.
After the
Very patient.
scandal-ridden longtime head of the company returned to the WWE's board after his resignation last year, McMahon settled for the announcement with Rita Charlton. Pharoah.
Yeah, probably settled with her just to get her to shut the fuck up and get lost. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell her.
40
Give me a break.
years.
Give me a fucking break. Give me a
Hold the
break.
fuck up.
Yeah. Give me a
Hold
fucking
on. Hold
break.
on.
Rika's got something
First
to say.
off, wasn't he an announcer at this point?
Right.
Well, he still owns
Okay,
it, though.
so, well, I'm just saying, like, who's to say that this referee chick and the announcer didn't hook up on many occasions?
Right.
I'm not saying that it was or wasn't. I'm just saying, like, how can you come up 40 years later and be like, oh, yeah, by the way,
Yep. Yep.
you know,
It smells.
seems fishy to me.
Well,
You're
here's
not saying
my
it didn't
question to
happen,
the
I'm
whole
just saying.
thing, right? So the scenario is that she wanted to talk to Vince about some stuff, and he coerced her to come into the limousine. At that point, he forced herself upon her.
Because Vince can't get any chicks.
No, he can't.
He can't. He needs
Right.
to rape a referee.
Right.
That's what he needs to do because he's desperate.
That face looks like a catcher's mitt, by the way.
Yeah,
but
or
let's
a
not,
foot.
Let's not face shame.
Perhaps a
anyone here.
foot, but okay.
You're going with foot. I say catcher's
Yeah.
mitt. But here's the question.
Catcher's mitt. Play ball! Not now!
You're fired.
You're fired.
Here's my point.
Wow.
So she's so upset about being raped. She's destroyed.
Right.
Who does she tell? Mario Mancini and Andre the Giant. That's who she's going to go to tell her problems to. Mario Mancini, the jobber,
Right.
and Andre the Giant.
Right. Who probably couldn't even understand it because he was on his 7th case of beer. But that's okay. I mean, come on here.
Did Vince rape you, pretty lady?
I mean, what is this, 40 years in the desert? Biblically, I have to wait
Right.
40 years before I go after the evil, Vince McMahon. No, I'm not
Vince
buying any of
McMahon
this.
didn't have billions of dollars back then. You got to wait 40 years sometimes.
Right,
You know,
right. He only had millions.
Or wait until he just
Right,
settles with
right.
everybody because he doesn't want to be...
Yeah, he just wants everybody to shut up.
All right, so
Shut up!
who is Rita Charlton? She was a WWE's first female referee who accused Vince McMahon of rape, makes new revelations. Rita Charlton, 64, who became a licensed wrestling referee in New York in 1984, was previously accused by Vince McMahon publicly of forcing himself in a limo in a 1992 interview with Geraldo Rivera. Unfortunately, the WWE star, hold on, I just went too far on my script here. Unfortunately, WWE star had already been in numerous scandals before, because of which Charlton's accusations got lost in the shuffle. So it got lost in the shuffle because
Right.
he's had so many
That's
accusations.
a hell of a deck he shuffled for to be lost for 40 years.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Have you seen my fucking, ace of spades? I can't find the card. You know what really is annoying, though? Think about this for a second. This really bothers me. 1984 is the changing point. Vince's father is fading away,
Right.
and Vince Jr. is coming in. You mean to tell me with a straight face that this female, by the way, the first female referee,
Yeah,
you
that's
think
right.
this idea came from Senior? No. This idea, this revolutionary forward thinking, reeks of Vince McMahon Jr. He gives her a huge
Thank you.
break, makes history for her, makes her the first female referee in the history of the business, and this is the thanks he gets?
Yep.
Let me talk shit on Geraldo. What did Geraldo give her,
I'm
20
just
bucks
saying.
and promise to show her Al Capone's vault? I mean, what are we
Look,
talking
I'm
here?
just saying, before all these accusations came to light, could anybody name the first female referee in WWF?
Nope.
Thank you.
Yep. This clown's brilliant.
Rika, what are the thoughts of the younger wrestling fan about Vince McMahon?
Ooh, this should be interesting.
All they see is Alzheimer's. All they see is this old man. They don't focus on him.
What do you see?
I see business. I see money. Regardless of how old he gets, his pockets will never empty. That's why.
Is there respect, love, or indifference, or even hatred towards Vince McMahon? Your own opinion of him.
There will always, if I was to meet Vince McMahon, I could do nothing but shake his hand for giving the world the product that it has.
Thank you.
And regardless if I like him as a person or like whatever, there's nothing that I could say bad about Vince McMahon because he created, without him, I would have no life. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I wouldn't have had something to attach myself to as a child. You know, it's one of those things like Vince McMahon is the godfather, literally, of everything that I know.
Right.
Everything that I've aspired to be. So, always respect for that man.
Mike, I'd like to throw this out there, too. I think you should heavily consider trying to pursue Mr. Bray Wyatt to get into the Funhouse. You should be there.
You should be there.
You should be
I
there.
agree.
You should be there.
I would love to be in the Funhouse.
You really would. It'd be fantastic. Go after that rabbit. Everybody abuses
Rika, who
that
was
poor
your
rabbit.
biggest influence in wrestling that made you become a wrestler?
Well, as we went over earlier, Jeff Hardy was always a inspiration as far as his, attitude toward things, his inspiration, inspirational attitude, his charismatic ability, and the things that he was doing. But as far as my wrestling overall, is always going to be Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie.
I respect that man and even after his passing and growing up watching him and all of that kind of stuff, I have watched more of his stuff and have earned more of a respect for him than I ever could say, even since I've been a wrestler.
I know it's a little bit of a personal question, so forgive me in advance. You're about 13, if I'm doing the math right, when Eddie passes away. Did you shed tears over Eddie?
Oh my gosh. Oh, like around that time, the internet was just blowing up. So it was like MySpace type things. And when I found out that Eddie had passed, and I think I heard about it actually at school, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at all. Because there was no checking Facebook, or, it was no, you'll hear about it in 5 minutes all over the place on Twitter. It was none of that. So it was like, do I want to take my best friend, who's a wrestling fan as well, do I want to take his word that Eddie has passed? I've got to go find out myself. So I'm going to the library right after school to get on the internet so I can start searching stuff up. And sure enough, as soon as I found out that it was true, I squalled like a baby. I'm not going to lie. Just because it's like a piece of my childhood. And that's the first one that I ever can actually remember a wrestler passing away in my lifetime and actually feeling that emotional connection.
I might as well ask you, while we're on the subject, any thoughts on Chris Benoit? After all, he was Eddie's best friend. We know how they were always linked together one way or the other. How did you feel when you heard about Chris Benoit? Did you love him as a wrestler, and did things change when you heard what he did?
This is a rabbit hole that we're going to need a whole nother podcast for, but I promise. Chris Benoit always will be one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers, just because there was nothing that man couldn't do.
Rika, here's the most serious question of them all. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Pharoah.
Good.
Those are 2 very good questions.
Here it comes.
But this is very important.
Here it comes.
Have you ever gotten a blowjob with your mask on?
Oh, my God. Please say yes.
Let me tell you. And this is 100% honesty. My wife's biggest fear is clowns.
Oh.
Her number one fear is clowns.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So, the rule was, when I decided to take on this personality, this charismatic clown you see before you, the one rule was that the mask never enter the bedroom.
That's rough.
So no. To answer your damn question, no, I never
sex
did.
in the mask.
Damn.
That's a little bit disappointing.
That's rough.
All right, Rika, we're almost out of time. Who's winning the Royal Rumble?
Ooh.
Oh, there's a couple different ways I would love to see this go. I would love to see The Rock come back, take hold what's his, and really show who's the head of the table for real.
Of course.
I would love that to happen. Or just out of breaking the titles apart from Roman and maybe bringing back some old school Winged Eagle nostalgia, I would love to see Cody Rhodes win the belt and turn the world championship back into the Winged Eagle.
What do you think is going to happen, though? If you're forced to pick one thing, give me one prediction.
Cody Rhodes.
I could see that.
Inferno is really, I think he's right. Rika wins the Rumble. Are you going to be in the Rumble?
I did get a call earlier, and you never know where Rika's gonna be. The carnival sets up every town it goes to, so I may just be at the Rumble.
Well, Rika, God knows you've hit the big time. Thank you for joining Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and Pharoah.
Thank you.
We'll be looking for you out there. Thank you for a fantastic interview. Unbelievable. Enjoy the Rumble, and say hello to your wife.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
brother.
Rika. Great job.
All right, thanks.
Well, what'd you think?
I loved him.
You loved it.
I loved him.
See,
Don't
I gotta tell people
Don't
out there,
start.
right?
No, you don't.
When I
not
make
start.
bookings, right,
Sometimes I look at him
Pharoah
like, what
looks
did you
at
just
me
do?
like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, Pharoah, have I ever failed you? And there's been times where Pharoah's like, he was aggravated, like he didn't, and also he's like, wow.
I wasn't aggravated
No,
about
I'm not
this
talking
one. I
about
was
this.
puzzled.
Not about this particular
no,
one. I'm
I wasn't
talking in the
aggravated about
past.
this one.
You've mellowed out. You've learned.
I
You've
bet.
definitely have.
Believe it or
come
not,
to
folks,
grips.
I have. Yes.
But really, in the beginning, he'd be like, no! and then all of a sudden be like, oh man, that was really enjoyable.
Well, you know why all of a sudden I started doing that? Because we were starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger names. Because in the beginning I was like, what's with the janitor from fucking Patchogue? I don't want him on.
Listen, but
We figured it out.
I don't like the indie scene.
The janitor didn't.
But you
that's
know
okay.
I don't like the indie scene.
No, I know.
So when I bring an indie guy in
He's
here,
cool.
I do the homework, right?
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
they're going
I
to be
love
good.
I love his
I
bit.
could see the way they're talking. I could see the way they're wrestling, and I'm like, you know what,
right.
this guy.
He's
like,
entertaining.
You remember the
was
kid
great.
from the Black and Yellow? He was entertaining.
Yes, he was.
How about
he was. The guy who played
the
Andre
Monte
was
guy?
fantastic.
He was fantastic.
He was great.
This guy was great.
He was great.
He was great.
Great job.
All right,
Lincoln.
so we
Great
want to wish
job.
everybody a wonderful Thursday. As always, God bless you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you
Yes,
for
sir.
everything. Before we go, Pharoah,
Yeah.
winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, winner of the Men's Royal Rumble. Who do you got?
Oh, shit. Well, I mean, again, all right. All miracles aside, I want it to be The Rock.
All right,
But
but-
I'm going to
hold
pick
on.
Cody Rhodes.
Ultimately, you want it to be The Rock.
I'm going to pick Cody Rhodes.
But you're going to try to say, I don't believe he's coming, so I'm going with
I'm
Cody.
going to pick Cody Rhodes.
Okay, Women's Rumble.
I still think it's going to be Naomi. What's
That's
wrong with
fine.
me?
That's fine.
But I do agree that logically it would be Rhea Ripley.
So your dream is Naomi.
Right, but realistically,
Rhea's
Rhea.
So I'm going to say Rhea's going to win it,
Yeah.
but I do believe Naomi will come back.
man, I would
okay,
love this.
but Rhea will win the Women's Rumble. For the men, I'll make the statement. Do I think Cody Rhodes is going to win it? Yes.
Yeah.
I will be highly disappointed if The Rock doesn't come and win the Rumble.
Why do you-
I'll be
why do you-
so
Well,
disappointed.
why do you do that to yourself every year? This has been a tease and a half for like
We're
3
running out of
years now.
time.
I know we're
We are
running out
running
of time.
out of time.
You think The Rock would know?
And the
you know?
other thing is, like, rumors about Stone Cold.
gotta be
Stone
now.
Cold would be great,
The
but
Rock's got to be now.
you know what? I'd rather have CM Punk, to be honest with
I
you.
got to agree.
All right?
I got to agree.
But I'll
with
go
that.
with Cody Rhodes. My spoilers for a bunch of the stuff is I think Rhea is going to win the Women's Rumble, and she's going to enter the Men's Rumble.
That'd be interesting.
Okay? And you will see a face-off between her and Soa Sequoia, right? And
Solo.
I don't think they'll
Right.
touch each other or whatever.
Well,
I will tell you a fun thought I thought, and I might be on the minority, but if Dominic Mysterio won the Rumble, I wouldn't be so dead set against it.
oh my God, wouldn't that be wild? You know, you really are an interesting cat. Cody Rhodes, clearly. Cody Rhodes is up here. Dominic is down here currently. Let's face it.
Fair enough.
You know, what do you mean, Cody? Give me Dominic. I mean, like, you are interesting.
Because I want the story.
Well, I tell you what, I personally love Dominic Mysterio, and he's slowly turning into Eddie Guerrero, the next Eddie Guerrero type, and the sky is the fucking limit
I
for this
don't
kid.
want to see Sami Zayn win it.
No, it wouldn't. No,
Okay.
no.
And I will tell you something, if you really want to add on to it, if Solo is one of the last members and somehow Roman comes out and tells him to get out of the ring because he doesn't want him to win it, and he comes, stays, and wins it, that could be a hot
to see
storyline.
Roman versus Solo. Could you just imagine?
It could be, too.
That would be fantastic.
Well, I want to thank you all again. Spidey, everybody says good night. Another great job.
Spidey.
Good night, everyone. Love you all.
Send us on our way, buddy.
Spidey's going to send us on our way.
Look, Spidey-
Spidey, say goodnight to the audience for us. And don't forget to say later at the end.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh, and until next time, later.
He did it.
He did it. Later.